Carmen, a dog, took on the role of raising an abandoned lion cub. However, months later, something unexpected occurred, leaving everyone perplexed. In a zoo in Poland, on a crisp and chilly morning, a significant event took place as Paris, the lion cub, made his first appearance. With his soft golden fur and tightly shut eyes, he epitomized newborn innocence. However, unlike the heartwarming scenes of maternal affection often seen in nature documentaries, this tiny cub's arrival was met with eerie silence. His mother, Ella, showed no interest in nursing him, not even a single nudge of recognition. It was as though the bonds of maternal love had been severed before they could even form. In the same cold and unfeeling manner, Paris's father, Tabo, spared the cub not even a glance. His gaze remained distant and indifferent, as if dismissing the very existence of the fragile newborn. This cold and brutal rejection left Paris alone in a hostile world, a world without the comforting presence of a mother or father to care for him. It was a harsh reality that forced the young lion to confront survival challenges from the beginning of his life. Paris's mother, Ella, initially approached him with a complex mixture of maternal and innate survival instincts. She sensed something different about him as she gazed at the tiny cub with unopened eyes. His fragile frame hinted at vulnerability, a trait that could potentially threaten the pride's survival. Typically, lionesses would go to great lengths to ensure the safety and well-being of their offspring. However, there were moments when these instincts clashed with the harsh realities of the unforgiving savanna. Ella couldn't help but doubt her cub's chances of thriving. As Paris struggled to take his first feeble steps, she observed from a distance, her keen eyes meticulously assessing his every movement. Ella sensed the physical challenges and fragility in Paris that would make survival an uphill battle. He posed a dilemma in her eyes. Her maternal instincts tugged at her heartstrings, urging her to provide the care, affection, and protection he desperately needed. Yet the instinct to ensure the overall survival of the pride, which was vital for their existence, pulled her in a different direction. It was this harsh reckoning that led her to make a heart-wrenching decision. She turned away from Paris, her maternal affection overshadowed by the unrelenting realities of their world. This choice left the newborn cub alone, abandoned by the one creature he should have been able to rely on. For a few agonizing minutes, it appeared as though his life might be extinguished before it had even begun. But Paris's story was about to take an unforeseen twist. Zookeeper Krzysztof Zicki drew the attention of other zoo workers, and together, they observed this unfolding tragedy with heavy hearts. They were acutely aware of the grim odds stacked against the lion cub trying to survive without the care and nourishment of his mother. Yet they clung to a glimmer of hope, praying that Ella would soon reconsider her choice. In the zoo, Paris faced the harsh reality of being abandoned by his mother and the challenges of survival as a vulnerable, motherless cub. He depended on the care of Iho Wiktorowska, a compassionate zoo worker who became his surrogate caregiver, providing him with nourishment and care. Despite Eva's efforts, Paris struggled to thrive due to a congenital heart defect, which affected his heart's normal function. The diagnosis reverberated like a seismic shock through the zoo team. Simultaneously, it seemed to shed light on why Paris had been forsaken by his mother, Ella. In her stringent maternal calculus, she had sensed something was amiss with her cub and chose to prioritize the strength and vitality of the pride. However, within the secure confines of the zoo, a glimmer of hope began to take shape. The humans who would assume the role of Paris's caregivers were relentless in their determination to defy the unyielding odds set before nature. As the days unfolded and Paris valiantly struggled to keep pace with his siblings, the zoo team keenly recognized not only his physical vulnerability, but also the formidable mental and social challenges he faced. Born with a condition that set him apart, Paris found himself as an outsider, endeavoring to find his place in a world that sometimes appeared unforgiving. Recognizing the urgency of Paris's condition, the zoo's veterinary experts consulted with external specialists, pooling their collective knowledge and experience to create a meticulously tailored treatment plan for his congenital heart ailment. Paris embarked on a rigorous regimen of medication and underwent continuous close monitoring, all with the singular goal of ensuring that his heart could operate as near to normal as possible. As the weeks slowly evolved into months, his condition remained a delicate balance between hope and uncertainty, like a fragile thread suspended in the breeze. The zoo staff observed him with unwavering vigilance, providing the crucial medical care and the love and support he needed to flourish and find his place in the world. However, the cub still appeared too vulnerable to navigate the world on his own, and the reality of his uncertain prognosis cast a heavy shadow over the discussions of his future. On one such sad day, as the team gathered to deliberate on Paris's fate, the grim uncertainty of his condition seemed inescapable. In this atmosphere of doubt and concern, Merrick, a seasoned and experienced zookeeper, rose to propose an idea, a beacon of hope that pierced through the prevailing uncertainty and offered the promise of a brighter future for Paris. There were cases of young animals successfully finding a place within surrogate families of different species, and with this notion in mind, Merrick proposed a daring and unexpected solution. It was time, he suggested, to seek out an adopted mother for Paris, a companion who could offer the emotional support and nurturing he so desperately needed. While this idea wasn't without its share of challenges and uncertainties, it presented a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak situation. The zoo team understood that finding the right surrogate mother for Paris would be a formidable and uncertain task. Still, they were unwavering in their commitment to explore every avenue, determined to give the cub a chance at life and happiness. Then, in a twist of fate that seemed almost too perfect to be accurate, the solution arrived in the form of Eva's beloved Old English sheepdog Carmen. Carmen had been carrying new life within her for weeks, her belly swollen with the promise of puppies. As the team continued their quest to find an adoptive mother for Paris, little did they know that Carmen's journey of motherhood was on the cusp of intersecting with the fate of Paris. In a remarkable turn of events, on a warm and sunny morning, just as hope was beginning to rekindle, Carmen went into labor and tenderly brought 5 perfect puppies into the world within the quiet confines of her whelping box. As she lovingly cared for her newborns, it felt like fate had orchestrated a celestial alignment. Could she be the solution? Carmen's maternal instincts were on full display, and during this heartwarming scene, an unmistakable feeling of magic permeated the air. With great care, Eva and the other zookeepers introduced Paris to Carmen's den, their collective breath held in anticipation of this unconventional meeting. Paris, with his soft golden fur and his heart filled with yearning, cautiously approached Carmen. In that pivotal moment, the dog, possessed of a mother's heart, performed something extraordinary. She extended a gentle muzzle and a reassuring lick, warmly welcoming Paris into her family. She was surprised at first, but she took it well, said the zoo owner in an interview with the Polish press. The sight that unfolded brought tears to the eyes of the zoo team, serving as a poignant testament to the unbreakable bonds that can form between different species when love, compassion, and destiny converge. Paris had discovered his adoptive mother in the most unexpected place, and Carmen had gained a son she could never have anticipated. As the little lion nestled among his new siblings, it was abundantly clear that a miracle had occurred. As the days seamlessly transitioned into weeks, Paris assimilated into Carmen's family. His soft golden fur blended harmoniously with the fluffy coats of his new siblings, creating a picturesque tableau of puppies in various shapes and sizes. Carmen treated the Lion Cub no differently from her biological pups. She diligently licked him clean, nursed him, and cuddled with him as she did with the others. The moments of interaction and bonding between Paris and his canine siblings were nothing short of heartwarming, a joy to witness. They engaged in playful antics, chasing their tails and tumbling over one another in exuberant bouts of sibling rivalry. Paris, with his burgeoning strength and lion spirit, held his ground in these lively games, earning both the respect and affection of his fluffy playmates. Yet, amid the joyous moments, there were also undeniable challenges and differences that Paris faced. The physical disparities between the Lion Cub and his furry companions were impossible to ignore. While the puppies displayed skill and swiftness, Paris moved differently with his robust build and developing mane. His gait was more regal, akin to that of a future savanna king, rather than a playful pup. As Paris endeavored to keep up with his canine siblings, he encountered difficulties rooted in his lion nature. Skills like climbing and leaping, essential for a lion's survival, weren't as intuitive for him as his canine companions, highlighting the distinctive nature of his upbringing and the balance he sought to strike between his lion identity and his newfound family. Paris' attempts at keeping up often resulted in endearing stumbles and tumbles, evoking laughter and empathy from the zoo team. Yet, the most significant distinction lay in Paris' greedy appetite. As he continued to grow, his lion's hunger outstripped that of the puppies, necessitating a more substantial diet. This posed a challenge for Carmen, who had initially cared for a litter of 5. Recognizing this imbalance, the observant zookeepers ensured that Paris received additional meals to sustain his growing body. Despite these differences, his assimilation into Carmen's family was a powerful testament to the force of love and acceptance. From exploring the world through the eyes of a puppy to discovering the simple joys of a warm and loving family, Paris's months within this unconventional family were filled with growth and thriving. Paris transformed remarkably from a frail and fragile cub into a robust and vibrant lion. His once soft golden fur had now matured into a lush mane, and the legs that were once unsteady bore the regal grace of a future king of the savannah. Yet the zoo team recognized another chapter in Paris's story that needed to be written. Fraught with uncertainty and the potential for heartache, the day of the reintroduction had arrived, and the team held their breath as they watched the scene unfold. The process began by carefully introducing Paris to his mother, Ella, the same lioness who had once rejected him at birth. Ella, the lioness, initially seemed uninterested, her gaze distant and unfocused. The zoo team started losing hope as Ella showed no sign of recognizing or caring for her cub, Paris. However, just as they were about to give up, something remarkable happened. Ella began to approach Paris with careful steps, showing a glimmer of recognition in her eyes. She lowered her head and gently licked Paris's head, a sign of affection. It was a moment of deep connection, showing the power of maternal love that transcends species boundaries. The zoo team watched in amazement as Ella and Paris, separated by circumstances, reunited. Paris nuzzled against Ella, and she responded with a purr, showing her love and acceptance. This reunion showed the strong bonds in nature and the enduring power of a mother's love. It was a deeply emotional moment that brought tears to the eyes of all who witnessed it. Paris had not only found love and acceptance with Carmen's family, but also his rightful place among his lion pride. As the sun set, Paris rested beside his mother, Ella, symbolizing their reunion filled with love and protection. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you.